mornings, 9:32. And speaking of old friends, it's time to check in with Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. You see, it's at this point on Wednesdays we present Ask the Lawyer. And perhaps today is the day that you get a question you submitted addressed by Bruce Scheiner. If you'd like to submit a question, and we all have our curiosities about the way the law works, I know. I'll tell you how to go about that in just a moment as well. But first, would you please help me welcome Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Todd. How are you doing this beautiful morning in Southwest Florida?
Well, you hit the nail on the head with the word beautiful. You couldn't ask for better. It's a little bit warm for my taste, but when I look at what some in the north are going through right now, I wouldn't trade it.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I know. You are a diehard Southwest Florida weather fanatic. I know that.
Yeah, I love it here.
Well, Bruce, we have another question this week, and an unfortunate person in an unfortunate predicament, but you're always so good at shedding some light on these situations. Are you ready to plunge into it?
I am ready, Todd.
All right, here we go. Today's email says, my 14-year-old daughter was walking across Tamiami Trail at a crosswalk when a car made a left-hand turn and sideswiped her. She was thrown about 10 feet, taken to the hospital, and has been in intensive care for several days. So worried, I can only imagine. And to make matters worse, the driver only has minimum insurance, and the hospital bills and possible therapy will be enormous. My wife and I maintain extensive coverage on our vehicles, but we have both been out of work, and we have no medical insurance. My brother-in-law claims our car insurance will only help if she was in our vehicle. Can your lawyer friend help? This is an intriguing question. There's several ins and outs here. Let's see what Bruce thinks. Bruce, what do you make of this?
Well, it is a very interesting question, and you know the main takeaway from this question is that auto insurance covers you at times when you're not in your vehicle.
Right.
In other words, this young lady was a pedestrian. She didn't even have a driver's license.
Right.
But since she was a resident relative of a parent's home, she's entitled to coverage under her parents' policy.
Okay.
So we start with that premise. Now, it's very important to note that because here in Florida, we're the second worst state in the United States in regard to pedestrian death.
Oh, that's true.
So, you know, you got to be very careful. But to answer the question, our old friend uninsured motorist coverage would kick in even though she's a pedestrian without a driver's license.
Okay.
So where it says in the question that her parents have extensive coverage,
right?
Hopefully that extensive coverage includes high limits of stacking, and I emphasize stacking uninsured motorist coverage.
Right. We always hear that.
So if she has stacking, they could add up all the vehicles they have in the household, multiply that by the uninsured motorist coverage, and she would have that coverage to help her, you know, take care of her damages and provide her with restitution.
I know that there are circumstances under which you don't have to be in your vehicle or the family vehicle in this case, and your automotive insurance will cover you. I just wasn't sure if this was one of those scenarios, so I'm glad you, first of all, pointed that out. Second of all, when somebody says I have extensive or complete or whatever kind of coverage, that's sort of subjective. I might call something extensive that somebody else might not. Like you say, having high dollar limits, stacking uninsured motorist coverage is the key here. And maybe, hopefully, they've got 3 or 4 vehicles, because that would make it even easier to pay the bills, right?
That is true, and that's absolutely the key, is that they have high limits of stacking uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
And as long as we're talking about it, the same thing applies to bicycles.
Yes.
Bicycles are just like pedestrians. If you're hit on a bicycle and your own insurance applies to that. And one thing that we didn't cover is that she's also entitled to her parents' PIP or personal injury protection coverage, which provides for $10,000 to pay towards her medical bills.
So there could be substantial resources available to make sure that this little girl gets back to where she needs to be. But it's really going to take a professional to sort through it all.
Absolutely. They need to hire an experienced personal injury lawyer.
All right, Bruce. I'm hopeful that they have the right kind of insurance. I'm sure that they can find out fairly quickly. And hopefully also it'll be a happier holiday next year for this family as she begins her healing. Thank you so much for weighing in this week as you do.
My pleasure, Todd. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you next Wednesday.
Sounds good, Bruce. Say hi to the family and take care.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up again for Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Now, if you'd like to submit a question for future consideration, all you have to do is go to our website, and in the keyword search box, put in the keyword Bruce, and then follow the instructions. If you have a more immediate situation that needs immediate attention, like this would be a good example, quite frankly, call the Port Charlotte office of Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates at 941-743-7777. 941-743-7777. Tell them that Todd sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.